And we're getting reports that starting tomorrow, the president is expected to add to a growing list of executive orders on everything from immigration to gun control to same-sex marriage. But Judge Andrew Napolitano says there is a serious problem getting larger here. He'll join us live to explain right after the break. Well, we're getting reports that starting tomorrow, President Obama could begin signing a series of new executive orders on some controversial issues. The orders, which would allow him to completely bypass Congress, reportedly include policies that would give new protections to gays and lesbians and toughen regulations for coal-fired power plants. Judge Andrew Napolitano is Fox News senior judicial analyst. Hi, Judge.
Allison, always a pleasure.
You too. Give us some perspective on how unusual it is to use this many executive orders that the president plans to.
Well, first off, an executive order is a piece of paper signed by the president directing someone who works for him, that's 3 million civilian employees and 2.5 million military employees, to do their job the way he wants them to do. The president can't tell Fox how to broadcast, the New York Times how to print, Chase Manhattan Bank how to manage money. He can only direct the executive branch employees as to how to do their job. Sounds like it's pretty confining, but the statutes have given him a lot of discretion. So, for example, he could say to the Environmental Protection Administration, even though it's an independent regulatory authority that's independent of him, he appointed his people there, I would be very interested in seeing you tighten the regulations on coal-fired plants, make it more expensive for them to produce heat by coal, thereby putting them out of business and going in a direction he wants them to go to. He could say to the Veterans Administration, which works for him, to the military, which works for him, I want you to change the laws on, I want you to change the regulations on spousal benefits of same-sex married couples, even though under current federal law, there are no such benefits. He could say to the Secretary of the Treasury, I want you to tighten regulations on these banks. He could say to the Justice Department, that large class of immigrants, I don't want you prosecuting them. All those things would be lawful for the president to do because of power given to previous presidents that is now his to exercise, even though Congress has decided not to wade in there.
Well, you know what the president, I assume, would say, which is that Congress is mired in gridlock. And so he's just not going to wait for them to take action. The American people want some action taken on some of these things, so he's going to circumvent them. Does he have an argument?
Well, he has an argument in the areas that he can regulate. You just had a great interview with our friend and colleague Chris Stirewalt. The president would like to sign an executive order confiscating guns. He can't do that. He'd like to sign an executive order banning certain type of guns. He can't do that. But he could have the EPA decide, you know what? Guns use bullets. Bullets are made of lead. When lead gets in the earth, it contaminates the earth, and someone's got to clean up that contamination. So let's charge the bullet manufacturers for the cost of cleaning up the bullets when they hit the earth. That would increase the price of bullets, which would effectively be a tax. Would Congress have enacted the tax? No. Who's going to enact the tax? The EPA. But the Constitution says only Congress can enact the tax. So that's an area where the president will try and get away with something that under the Constitution only the Congress can do. Look for that tonight, Allison. And the Democrats will applaud when he says this. I don't think they have enough votes to do it.
Meaning look for him to lay out his executive orders, or talking about EPA regulations?
I think he's going to lay out exactly what he wants to accomplish, because if his inauguration address, where he could have gone like this to the American people, let me bring you together, and instead went like that, let me divide you by class. If that's any indication of what we can expect tonight, look for a strident, big government, hard left path to be laid out by him. And one of the sheet anchors of that path is gun control, because the government thinks it can keep us safer than we can keep ourselves safe.
Judge Andrew Napolitano.
These are exciting times, Ms. Camerota.
Indeed they are. Thanks so much for helping us understand them.
Pleasure.